day in Durham for a Coastal Division matchup. Pitt comes into Wallace Wade Stadium looking for an important road win, while Duke is looking to get one victory closer to being bowl eligible. The ACC Network Game of the Week presented by Mellow Mushroom. It's the Panthers and the Blue Devils from Durham, North Carolina. Pitt has won 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams. It is so great to have you with us. Tom Wormy along with Dave Archer. DJ Shockley will join us from the sidelines in just a moment. Well, Dave, we start with Duke. They came out of the gate this season with 4 straight wins. Bit of a stumble recently, looking for a big performance from their sophomore quarterback today, and that's Daniel Jones.
Yeah, and Tom, in talking with Coach Cutcliffe yesterday, this is kind of a problem that spans the entire offense. That's not just the sophomore quarterback. Daniel Jones possesses all the skills. Big arm, can run with the football, but has struggled taking care of the ball in recent weeks. Subsequently, the offense has struggled. When you struggle, you try to get the ball to your best players. I think these two kids are their best players. Sean Wilson, the senior, Britton Brown, the freshman. These two kids are averaging both right around 6 yards a carry. Get those guys the ball. Maybe we see them on the field at the same time today.
We may, and there is a question mark as far as Pittsburgh is concerned at quarterback. That has been answered, though, because Max Brown, the starter, was injured 2 weeks ago against the Syracuse Orange, and Ben Dinucci, the sophomore quarterback, gets his 3rd start of the season for the Panthers.
Yeah, tough break for Max Brown and the transfer from USC. But Ben Dinucci brings something to the table that they didn't have with Brown. It's ability to move. This is a kid that can bootleg. He can run the zone read. He can do a lot of things for him from a quarterback position. And why not get it to one of your big playmakers? Quadre Henderson, the All-American, is a guy that makes plays all over the field. He's averaging 8.5 yards a touch. He's a guy that will affect the game in the return game as well. This is a guy that is a big play guy. When you talk about big play guys, DJ, Pitt's got a guy that's going to play on both sides of the ball today.
Yeah, they do. Junior defensive back there. Jordan Whitehead's one of the more versatile players on the field. Expect to see him all over. He has to make sure he guards the dynamic receivers from Duke, but he also has a task of really getting after the playmakers offensively. Here's one thing about him, though. He scored a touchdown and a 2-point conversion this season early in the year versus Syracuse, but also, guys, he plays defense, but he is the 2nd leading rusher on the Pitt team. The interesting touch today is how many touches will he get on offense to really have an impact on the game?
DJ Duke will touch the ball first as Pitt won the toss and elected to defer. There are a couple of flags out after the 20-yard return by Sean Wilson. 73 degrees at game time. Very light breezes, 45% humidity. David Epperly is our referee.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the receiving team, forming the illegal wedge on the kickoff. Half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
Dave Archer, time for the Food Line Impact players, and we start with Duke.
Yeah, TJ Ramming, big-time player on the outside, leads the team in receptions. They'll need to get number 3 the ball as much as they can. And Copenhaver, the tight end, is a guy that has been big for them in the red zone. 3 touchdown receptions. That leads the team as well.
The Blue Devils this season are 4-3, 1-3 in conference play, and 3-2 at home. There's the starting quarterback, Daniel Jones, 6'5", 215 pounds, and a sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina, and Charlotte Latin High School. He'll start from the shotgun. Wilson taken down short of the 15-yard line for Sean Wilson, the senior, also from Charlotte. Whitehead had the tackle after a 6-yard gain.
Food Line Impact players for Pitt defensively. Sean Adowu, excellent linebacker, sideline to sideline guy, leads them in tackles. And Avonte Maddox, outstanding corner on the outside, 7 career interceptions. He's a guy that can really run. You'll see him on offense as well today.
Maddox does have 1 interception this season. That is Wilson, close to the marker, but maybe just a little bit short. 3 yards on the rush.
Talked about right off the top, get your best players the football. Started off with Wilson carrying the football in this run game, and this is a Duke team that has been kind of pass-oriented over the years under David Cutcliffe. Not this year. This is a team that's got 2 big-time backs.
8th in the conference in 3rd down conversions, 39% for the Blue Devils. This is 3rd and shorts. Wilson, he's got enough, for the chains are going to move after a 2-yard gain from Sean Wilson.
Yeah, nice statement being set here by Duke up front. Come off the ball, 3 consecutive run plays here, Tom, trying to establish themselves physically a little bit in this game. This is going to be these are 2 teams that pride themselves on the physicality on both sides of the ball along the front.
David Cutcliffe is the 10th-year head coach for the Blue Devils, 5th in the conference in rushing. 190 yards per game on the ground. That's where they'll go again with Wilson. A little change of direction and up to the 23-yard line.
Tom, you talk about these two backs. Sean Wilson, who's the senior, he's a guy that has a little bit more shake to him. You saw him cut back there and find that little hole. When Britton Brown, the freshman, comes in, a little bit bigger body, still has the ability to run it. You see there 190 yards a game. Tom has talked about 5th in the ACC in rushing, but Brown a little bit bigger back, a little bit more power.
Wilson is the team's leading rusher. Gets another chance. Trying to turn that corner, and he can't do it. It's only a yard. As DeMar Hamlin came up to stop him.
Well, it's a good play by Hamlin, too. This is a play that's strung out defensively. Now you're hoping for somebody to come out of the secondary and finish him off, and Hamlin gets that done, pushes him out of bounds. Virtually no gain, now 3rd and medium.
5 receiver set for Duke, another 3rd down. This 3rd and 5. From their own 24-yard line for the Blue Devils. Jones lets it fly. Actually, Pittsburgh had a chance to pick that one off with Hamlin.
Yeah, I didn't like the matchup either. Tried to find Copenhaver in the slot. Pretty tight coverage, and Jones a little bit late with the ball coming out, and you got zone safeties back there. Excellent opportunity for Hamlin to come up with a pick there. Felt like maybe he got held up a little bit as he was on the out route. Now, this kid right here is a big timer, Tom. We talk about Henderson. Last time we saw him was at Georgia Tech. He had an 80-yarder for a touchdown.
Austin Parker, the punt to Henderson. Backtracks to the 30. Gets away from the first 2 men. And then is pulled down at the 35-yard line. 46 yards on the punt. It's a 5-yard return. Our Carolina Ford keys to the game with Dave Archer. And Dave, you've got formulas to success for these teams today.
Yeah, for Duke, the formula, or I'm sorry, for Pitt, the formula is Q squared, and that's Quadre Henderson and Quadre Olison. Need to get both those guys going. They're big-time players. Pitt needs some help from those two on the offensive side of the ball. And for Duke, a little bit more complicated. We'll go E versus equals MC squared. That's energy and effort equals the mass of their defensive front up front, outstanding, and the Cheetah Coalition in the back end.
You don't have to be Einstein to figure out that both of these teams are trying to stop losing streaks this afternoon. Pittsburgh, first chance on offense. It's Darren Hall up to the 40-yard line. 5 yards for Hall. Time for the Food Lion impact players. And here come the Panthers, Dave.
Well, Jimmy Morrissey's been outstanding as the redshirt freshman at center. Done a nice job. Started all 7 games for this season. And Quadre Olison, talked about Henderson, the returner in the opening. Olison is the big back. Number 37. He'll change in and out at the running back position with Hall. Hall in there right now. But Olison is the big back. Had 1,100 yards 2 years ago.
Dinucci keeps this one. Tried to bounce it outside, but was taken down at the 42 or 3-yard line. 3 yards after the tackle by Jordan Hayes for Duke.
Now, this is what Dinucci's going to bring to the table that they didn't have potentially with Max Brown, more of a pocket passer. Dinucci will run the zone read we saw there. Excellent open field tackle by Hayes, part of that Cheetah Coalition. That's what they call themselves in the secondary here at Duke. But Dinucci is his ability to run the football makes him more of a threat in these situations, Tom, than maybe anywhere else, because his ability to pull it down and take off.
3rd and short. Pittsburgh just 12th in the conference in 3rd down situations. They're going to get this one up near midfield. It's Darren Hall.
They've used a kind of a combination of backs, and Hall's going to hit this one straight in. Came in averaging about 3.5 yards a carry. Missed tackle right at the start. Good high knees by Hall to pick up the first down. Food Lion impact players defensively for Duke. It's that big fella up front. Ramsey, he's the leader on the defensive front. It's a good defensive front as well, and their linebackers can run and hit. They're led by Joe Giles Harris.
Nice conversation with Joe Giles Harris yesterday, the leading tackler for the Blue Devils. Gregarious young man, but his attitude changes once he gets between the white lines, Dave.
Oh, and here's Joe Giles Harris right here. Tom playing in that extended area that a linebacker off the extend to. Number 44 reaches in with the right hand and bats it out. Had a little help from Alonzo Saxon, the safety, but that kid right there, he had a chance to do a game a couple of weeks ago against Virginia, and he's still making tackles in that game. Guys all over the field.
Yeah, you talk about Joe Giles. I had a chance to talk to him earlier this week, and he said we kind of treat Pitt like a triple option offense in the way that we watch him and have to be really good with our eyes and continue to do your job. He said everybody has to do their job, especially playing against an offense like this, where we've seen early with the jet sweeps and all the eye candy they have to deal with in front of them.
Yeah, this is a team that wants to be physical, much like Duke wants to be today as far as running the football. We talked about that Virginia game. There he is, 15 tackles. He had 3.5 of those for loss. And, Chuck, you kind of wonder when you see Jordan Whitehead, when Quadri Henderson touches the football.
Yeah, because Jordan Whitehead, like I talked about in the open, is a dynamic player, but he's one of those guys who is standing over on the offensive side right now. He's not with the defensive guys. He's looking for an opportunity, but they definitely have to find a way to get the ball to Quadri Henderson.
3rd and 5 shock for the Panthers. This is Hall, dragged down. Ben Humphries wrapped him up well short of the marker. Had to get to the 42, and he only got 2 yards on the play.
Tom, these two linebackers, Giles Harris, who we've already mentioned, and Ben Humphries are the best of friends. In fact, they've got a little friendly competition. Who's going to make the most tackles today? Well, I guess you're going to have to get, Ben's not going to like the fact that Joe Giles came in there and Giles Harris came in and got him an assist on his tackle, but those two guys can really fly sideline to sideline.
Ryan Winslow, the senior punter, kicking to T.J. Ramming, standing at his 10-yard line. Winslow able to get that one away. Ramming looking for the fair catch, and he makes it at the 7. Almost 5 seconds of hang time on a 39-yard punt. There is no return. Always a great tailgate in Durham. Grab some ribs here. Duke in Pittsburgh, the ACC Network game of the week. Jones still has it. Pass is knocked away at the 25-yard line, intended for Chris Taylor. Louisville had a 43-point win between the teams last year. It's tied up, as Katie mentioned. Daniel Jones taken down by Whitehead and Hamlin for 6 yards, Dave.
Well, Florida State was here a week ago, Tom, and really a hard-fought battle against this Duke team. 17-10, they were able to prevail, and Duke really felt like they had an opportunity to win it. But we talked about Daniel Jones' versatility. Big kid, 6'5", about 220, but he has the ability to run the football. Nice job there on the zone read. Now you got a 3rd and 4 situation.
Jones threw for 204 yards in that loss, as Dave mentioned, against Florida State. Now he's got to scramble to get out of that pocket. Coming to the near side. Throws it up to the 35-yard line, and they got it there. Catch.
Well, Chris Taylor worked down the sideline here, Tom. Whenever you get a scramble situation, you got to respond as a receiver. A lot of times if you're short, go deep. If you're deep, come back to the quarterback, and Taylor comes back along the sideline. Now, did he stay in bounds? And you almost wonder, did Daniel Jones step out of bounds before he threw it?
Illegal touching on the offense. The receiver went out on his own, came back in, was first to touch. The ball will be lost it down at the previous spot, 4th down.
So Chris Taylor had gone out of bounds. You heard the description, on his own, and then returned. Had he been forced out, he could come back in, establish himself in bounds, and caught the football. But a good job of working back. Now, it didn't work out for him, penalty because he'd gone out of bounds, but that's what you want to do. Respond as a receiver, come back and help your quarterback. Just didn't work out this time. And now you've got to deal with this guy, Quadri Henderson.
Yeah, he had a 65-yard punt return in the game between the teams a season ago in Pittsburgh. 56-14. Pitt won it.
2 career punt return touchdowns. 4 career kickoff return touchdowns.
He'll come up to try to meet this one at the 38. He can't get there, and it takes a Duke roll. Down to the 21-yard line. It is a 52-yard punt from the sophomore Austin Parker. When we come back, the Panthers on offense from Durham. Back in Durham, North Carolina, Pitt football royalty, Darrelle Revis.
The island is here. How about that? 8 career interceptions as a Pitt Panther. He took 2 of those back for touchdowns. Also had, I believe, 2 or 3 punt return touchdowns as a Pitt Panther. 29 career interceptions as an NFL. Was the island if you're a receiver destined to go against Darrelle Revis.
Won a Super Bowl ring in the NFL with the Patriots, and here's Darren Hall breaking free into new territory, dashing for the end zone, and Hall scores. The Panthers pop the big play.
And we talked about little eye candy type things that potentially could take your eyes off of the deal. Here's Quadri Henderson here. He's going to come across in motion, and it will affect the defense. Little blitz by Humphries. He blitzes right out of the play, and then Hall, excellent speed. Once he splits it, good job up front to short out the Ben Humphries blitz. and Hall puts it in the end zone. You know, Tom, this Duke defense was marred by 4 plays a year ago that were over 50 yards.
Second TD run of the season for Hall.
7 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the first period.
Darren Hall busts through the middle, and Pitt scratches first. This will be a battle. We'll be back after a word for your local ACC net station.
Sean Wilson on the return for Duke. Hits the roadblock at the 20. 17 yards on the return from Sean Wilson. This is Sean Wilson. He's got a first down and more.
Yeah, there's some of that change of direction by Wilson out of the backfield. His ability to bounce it and then hit it up the field.
Saw Darren Hall on the bench after that long run. You know, Hall's longest run of the season, Dave, had been just 12 yards, and then he breaks that long one for the Panthers.
Sean Wilson is a guy that's gotten off to a good start here early.
Yeah, he has, and I talked to him earlier this week. He said he wants to focus on being more patient in the inside runs. He said at times he got a little impatient. Now he's starting to slow down and let those blocks develop, as we saw that first run, actually.
Jones pass complete to Ramming, and he's got a first down on back-to-back plays.
Yeah, nice play by Ramming that time. Really did a good job of circling out. Hamlin's going to try to track him. The safety, Ramming catches it, pirouettes, and then gets up the field for a first down. They need some more of that from T.J. Ramming. His ability to catch and run is something that they've valued since he's been here.
Jones, shoulder down at the 45-yard line. Ran into Jordan Whitehead on the tackle.
Well, Daniel Jones, we talked about it. Jordan Whitehead who came up and made the play. DJ talked about him and his ability to play both sides of the ball. But Daniel Jones is a guy that, boy, I think they're really excited about him. I think he was forced into action a year ago as a freshman, learned on the job. A little bit of a swoon here the last couple of games. He needs some players to play around him a little bit better, but he's got all the tools.
Sean Wilson very close to a first down. DJ?
You guys talking about Daniel Jones and all he brings to this offense, and obviously he's been voted a captain this year, only a sophomore, but that speaks volumes of what his teammates think of him and also the way he's throwing down the field. When we talked to Coach Cutt, he talked about he has to be in a state of readiness at all times and making sure that he's always ready to pull the trigger, especially in this offense when they got to get it going.
Pressure coming. Jones got it away. It's Ramming. He's out of bounds. The 27-yard line. 9 yards on the pass. Maddox forced him out.
Yeah, that's a great matchup, Ramming and Maddox. Blitz comes off his right side. Jones knows it's coming. Excellent job of setting his feet, delivering the ball. Ramming had a little bit of cushion from Maddox on the outside. Good recognition of Jones to realize he had a soft corner to his left, meaning he was playing off. He could get the ball out of his hands quickly to Ramming.
Second and short. Britton Brown inside the 20. Brown made a great initial move to avoid contact, and he chews up 11.
It's something that's bothered this Pitt defense all year long, Tom, is their ability to get the run stopped. They came in giving up almost 180 yards a game and almost 5 yards a carry. Britton Brown, the freshman, just talked about him, takes advantage, nice cutback, and another first down. Now they push it inside the red zone.
Jones inside the 10.
Boy, how about the patience on Jones here to step in behind the block? He's going to get a key block right in front of him, right there. Just steps in behind it. Excellent patience. Faked a little toss play wide, and Zach Roper doing a nice job of calling plays here. Duke has really struggled down here in the red zone.
11th in the conference in red zone offense. Driving straight ahead is Britton Brown.
And this will help him, Tom. If you can run the ball in the red zone, it makes things much bigger than they really are down there. You must be able to run it.
Just 15 seconds to go in this first quarter with Duke knocking on the door and trailing 7-0. So now Quentin Harris is committed quarterback, the sophomore from Wilton, Connecticut. Jones on the sidelines. 10th play of the drive for Duke. Started at their own 42 and whistles Hall play because that is the end of the first quarter. So the Blue Devils trying to defend the home turf at Wallace Wade Stadium, trailing 7-0, but threatening. Second quarter, straight ahead on the ACC Network. Well, just a moment ago here at Wallace Wade Stadium, Steve Spurrier honored for his induction coming up in December into the College Football Hall of Fame as a coach, already in as a player. Head coach here from 87 to 89, Dave, and an ACC championship in his years at Duke.
The head ball coach. Boy, what a great one he's been. And think about that, Tom. 4 guys have gone in as a player and a coach. And we'll get to some of those numbers and some of those other guys. Think about that. See if you can come up with the other guys that have been voted in as a player and a coach. We'll give it to you later on.
Britton Brown on the carry. Steve Spurrier is scheduled to join us in the third quarter as well, so we look forward to that. Our first quarter stats are brought to you by Nicorette.
Well, the big play, obviously the 79-yard touchdown run for Pitt has been the big play of the game, but really Duke has controlled the football, doing a good job on third down conversions. The one turnover did not cost them. Their defense came in and got a 3 and out. So we got Daniel Jones back in the game here, and Pitt threatening for an opportunity to put their score on the board.
Second and goal for Duke. Jones looking toward the end zone. Back of the end zone, incomplete.
He missed him. He missed him, Tom. Copenhaver, who we talked about as one of our Food Line impact players, is a guy that was open early. Watch 81 flash right now. There he is, right there, getting the ball. Just did not see him early enough. And as it turned out, he got to him late, but by then Pitt had closed and took away the window. Copenhaver comes in with 3 touchdowns on the year. He's been a good weapon down here.
Britton Brown is the back. 3 for 4 on third down. This is third and goal for the Blue Devils. Jones still has it. Jones down to the 2. Some tough running and determined. He got 4 yards on the play, but came up short of the goal line. Ran into Damar Hamlin.
Yeah, Hamlin's kind of been that guy, Tom, roving in the middle, trying to come down and take away those kind of in between the pitch and the quarterback runs.
So now a field goal attempt for Austin Parker. This will be a 25-yard attempt for Parker, trying to put Duke on the board early second quarter. So the Blue Devils took 13 plays, but they get 3 points out of it with the Austin Parker field goal. We'll be back after these messages from the University of Pittsburgh and Duke. Henderson fields the kick, 1.5 yards deep. Trying to get around that corner. And Henderson out of bounds, up close near the 20-yard line.
Now they get Pitt backed up behind the chains. We'll see if Jim Knowles decides to come with some pressure to dig him deeper, or is he going to play zone? This is an aggressive defense for Duke.
They've got room. A.J. Davis, 38-yard line, 14 yards for Davis, the freshman, the tackle by Joe Giles Harris.
And what did they do? They played aggressively. They played man coverage. It came with a little bit of extra pressure up front, and Pitt creases them in the run game.
Panthers on third down to Davis again.
Davis again with the assignment. This time he is met by Alonzo.
He's got enough because those sticks are moving up near the 40-yard line.
He plays near the 40-yard line.
Overly quickly working here. Dinucci looking at his sideline. They're going to go ahead and go with a little sugar huddle here right near the ball. Clock winding down now inside a minute 20. Pitt will get the ball to start the second half.
Dinucci deep. Too far for the intended receiver, Jester Weah. Brian Fields is the only player to get a piece of it.
Weah, big target at 6'3", 210, and good job by Brian Fields to keep upfield leverage. Just kind of a hard play fake, and now going to take the shot down the field. Look where Fields is. Perfect position beyond the receiver. And really, Weah just kind of trying to wave his hand in there and blur Fields' vision to keep him from picking that one off.
Fields had a 61-yard interception return for a touchdown in the fourth quarter of the big win on the road at North Carolina to take the victory bell earlier this season for Duke. 2nd and 10, time for Dinucci. Slings it down near the 35-yard line, and the pass is on schedule to Araujo Lopes.
Well, it's excellent protection up front, Tom. That allows this deep corner route. And McDuffie, number 9, going to take a bad angle. See, he starts flat, which doesn't put him in position to make a contested play at the ball. Because he came so flat, now he just has to make the tackle to keep Araujo Lopes from scoring. So a bad angle by one of the cheetahs back there. McDuffie's been really good so far this year for Duke.
28 yards on the pass play. Dinucci back to the air. Trying to step through the pocket and tumbles down. Serenor got just enough of him to drop him, a loss of 5. And we'll be back after a word from your local ACC station. Here's Dinucci. Again flushed out of that pocket, directing some traffic in the pass. There's a short hop at the 15. Araujo Lopes, the intended receiver. Jordan Hayes on the coverage for the Duke defense. That brings up 3rd and long. Again, 28 seconds to go in the half. 4 of 8 on 3rd down for Pittsburgh. And the football spotted at the 37 of the Blue Devils. Again, the 47-yard miss from Kessman. He'd made 5 in a row, Dave, prior to that, all 42 yards or more.
Yeah, you're going to need to get him about 6 or 7 yards here and then burn the timeout.
Dinucci, the floater, inside the 10. Both players going for it. Fields had the position, and it falls to the turf. French was also there for Pittsburgh.
This doesn't, and they're going to go ahead and try it. This is going to be a long field goal. Going to be somewhere in that 55-yard range. Like to have seen, I'm sure Pat Narduzzi, the head coach, would have liked to have seen an underneath throw to get his kicker a little closer.
Kessman has made from 56 yards. That was at Syracuse to tie a school record earlier this year. This is officially 55 yards. He has made from this distance. That was at Georgia Tech. Kessman. Does it have enough? Off the mark. Off the mark for Kessman, who's now 0 for 2, but both field goals long ones, 47 and 55 yards. Back in Durham. Duke with just 15 seconds on the clock. Jones on the design run. Puts the shoulder down at the 45-yard line. He got 8. Idowu on the tackle.
Yeah, Pitt came with pressure off the wide side of the field. Good decision by Jones to pull it down. Now you got your timeouts if you're Duke here to provide. Probably looking at maybe 2 plays here and 1 play potentially to get yourself in field goal range, or you get yourself down where Jones can throw the jump ball.
Austin Parker has connected for the only Duke points, a 25-yard field goal in the second quarter.
As long as 45.
Made that against Baylor in mid-September.
Playing off now. They're giving him the sideline, though. You can make a throw out in this area out here at the top.
Jones, the pass.
There it is.
What a catch. Chris Taylor. 31-yard line.
If you're cut, go ahead and take the timeout. There it is.
And they got 24 yards on the pass play. 4 seconds on the clock and a timeout.
Well, they gave up the sideline. They played deep and then gave up the sideline. It's an excellent catch by Taylor. This is exactly what Duke wanted, was to attack the sideline. Taylor squeezes it. Falls forward for the first down. Clock stops because of the moving of the chains. And, of course, Coach Cutcliffe ran down the field and burned the timeout.
Dave, did that football glance off the helmet of the defender and Taylor? A slight adjust? I mean, what a catch. DJ?
Fellas, Duke hasn't done much of anything in this first half offensively. You give them a chance to go into the locker room with a little confidence that they're able to make this field goal, but Adowu never looks back on that particular play to even give himself a chance to break that ball up.
An excellent concentration play by Taylor, and now you've got a field goal. Now this will be his long of the year, just 45. He made a 45-yarder.
A light breeze helping Austin Parker out of the hold of Bain. It was deflected. Pittsburgh wisely staying away from the football. Will be down at the 10.
Couldn't tell if that got blocked off the edge or if it got blocked through the middle. It's obviously in the middle there. Couldn't tell who got a paw on it.
Maybe 78, Dave. Alex Buchser in the middle, but
put the offensive lineman in there to try to block it.
That attempt blocked from Parker, so a made field goal from 29, but a miss from 49. And the teams will head to the locker room. Pittsburgh, which dominated the second period as far as time of possession is concerned, came up empty, 7-3, down to DJ.
Coach, you put up 170 rush yards in that first half. What was working for you guys offensively?
170 rush yards, but only 7 points. So we got to score more points. I mean, it comes down to it. They're a good football team. Our kids are, I think our running backs are running hard. Our offensive line's blocking hard. And I'd like to get another 170 in the second half with another 14 or 21 points.
Are you happy with the way your defense is playing right now, holding Duke to only 3 points and not much on the ground, really?
Yeah, I mean, that was a big field goal block, I think, by our left tackle. You know, he cut, a pass last week. He gets a block there on an important field goal. Yeah, they're okay. I mean, 30 minutes more to go. It's ain't a 30-minute game.
All right, Coach, thank you. Really scrappy game here in the first half at Wallace Wade Stadium. Pitt up 7-3. Should be interesting second half. Katie, take it away in the studio.
Back in Durham, moments before the start of the second half. It is now time for our halftime stats. They're brought to you by Dish.
Well, you had the big run, the Hall run, 79 yards, but just not a lot by the offenses. Certainly when you got down and with an opportunity to put points on the board, just haven't done it much. Pitt owned the football in the second quarter. Duke owned it in the first quarter. So we got a guy in the booth here who would like to see us throw the ball over.
We'll get to that in just a second, okay. Dave. Right now, let's go to DJ Shockley.
Coach, what do you got to do to get your offense going here in the second half?
We can't let the first half define who we are. We're going to give our players and our playmakers more chances than what we did. We can't play like that and be successful here.
All right, Coach, have a good one. Pitt gets the ball coming out of the second half. Should be entering the first half. Can Dinucci get it going will be the key.
DJ, thank you very much. We look forward to our second half of play. But earlier in this game, in a break of the action, Steve Spurrier, the legendary head coach who was here in the late 80s and led this program to an ACC championship, honored because he is going into the College Football Hall of Fame as a coach. He's already in as a player, and we have the privilege of watching Coach Spurrier and the things that he was able to do. And look at this resume, and it includes a national championship, Dave, at Florida as well.
Well, I've had the great pleasure of getting to know Steve Spurrier over his career, and I'm not sure why he didn't recruit me to come to Duke back in 1980, but when you Coach, really appreciate your time. Head ball coach with us. Steve, when you came here in 1980, after being at Georgia Tech, came here in 1980 as the offensive coordinator. Why was this a good fit for you to come here?
Well, it's the only fit, Dave. Fortunately, I'd met Coach Red Wilson at Dunwoody High School in Atlanta doing spring recruiting before that 79 season at Georgia Tech. We all get fired. And Bill Curry told me I was a candidate for quarterback coach, but he couldn't guarantee anything. So Duke had an opening for offensive coordinator, and I called up. Coach Red Wilson called. I went up, visited, and got hired. So I owe Duke University everything as far as my coaching career. So I got hired then, and then I went to the USFL. 3 years later, we had back-to-back winning seasons. These kids could really play ball here, especially the quarterbacks and receivers. And then after USFL folded, another opening occurred, and Tom Butters hired me to come back here in 87 through 89. And, of course, that 89 year, we sort of put it all together and won the ACC.
Well, Steve, you've always had a great knack for finding quarterbacks. You talk about you had Ben Bennett come in here, Anthony Dilwig. I mean, you had some really good quarterbacks.
I tell you what, I coached 4 guys. We were just looking at the wall in the Yo Center here at Duke. And 4 of the guys were ACC Players of the Year. Anthony Dilwig and Ben Bennett, and then 2 receivers, Chris Castor and Clarkson Hines. So we had some really, talk about playmakers and what Coach Cutler just said. And I tell you what, the students used to really come out back in those days. And every time we'd hit a long pass, they'd yell air ball, just like over in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Air ball, air ball. So that was really fun.
Let's flash you back. Take us back to 1989 and the excitement around the program.
Okay, I guess this is the North Carolina game.
This was the big win against North Carolina.
Well,
yeah.
they weren't all that good that year. They were 1-10, I think. But we had to beat them to win the ACC. So that was the first one, I think, since '62.
Right.
And the only one since. But
6-1 record that year, All-American Bowl. I have to imagine, Coach, that when you look around to see the transformation of this particular parcel of land on campus, it is very hard to believe as Pittsburgh starts with possession of the second half.
Yeah, the facilities here are as good as anywhere. They really are. Kevin White, the athletic director, and the boosters that have the money to give, they have done a super job. Everything's here to be very successful. Just got to go win, keep it up, win successfully, recruit maybe a little bit better. But Coach Cutcliffe has won a division. He has played for a championship. This year's team may not be quite that caliber, but it can be done here at Duke University.
Yeah, they won their first 4 games of the year, trying to stop a 3-game losing streak. Pittsburgh has possession of the football, and that one comes to the near side out of bounds near the 25-yard line.
Steve, when you talk about when you were so good at designing things and attacking people's defenses or their weaknesses, one of these plays that's kind of become in vogue here is this jet sweep. Came across. If I'm not mistaken, you guys were doing that way back in the day, but here's a kid, Henderson, carrying the ball as an explosive play.
Yeah, we did do that under center. Of course, everybody's in the shotgun now. We didn't do it a whole bunch, just every now and then we would do that and fake it. But what we did well in the quarterbacks and receivers, they just would run precise routes. And, it seemed to be a little easier maybe back in those days because the defensive coverages, people didn't disguise much. And they disguise a little bit better now. But we really had some receivers and quarterbacks and offensive linemen that could do it all.
You had a mention of going fast on all. Your guys could go fast. You had the ability to change the tempo. That's now become standard operating procedure. Now, you got to take great pride in some of the things you brought to the game are now kind of what everybody wants to do.
Well, we went fast usually early in the game, but if we had the lead, that's when Randy Cuthbert would run for a bunch of yards, or whoever the tailback was. And somebody told me that the 89 ACC championship year, we were almost exactly 50-50 run pass. So winning teams, it's usually about like that.
It's pretty good balance.
Yeah.
Pretty good balance. 1 national title, 1 ACC title, 6 SEC championships. I mean, amazing career. Steve Spurrier with us here in our game with Pitt and Duke.
Yeah, hopefully before this game's over, we can be yelling air ball a little bit. And I hope Coach Cutcliffe tells his offensive coordinator, I think we've only thrown that one deep pass, and he hit it for 30 yards. Let's get it up there. He said, Coach Cut, I think, said he's going to do that at halftime. So hopefully that's going to happen. All right, thanks, guys. Good to be with you.
Coach Spurrier, thank you for stopping by. Steve Spurrier, 1966, Heisman Trophy winner, 89, won the ACC as the head coach at Duke. Started here as an offensive coordinator in the early 80s, Dave, and it's so much fun to talk with Steve Spurrier. Dinucci throwing on the run inaccurately. And that above the head of Arujo lopes and out of bounds and incomplete.
Yeah, really tough on a play caller on a quarterback on 3rd and long when they're going to drop 8 off into coverage. Dinucci just couldn't find anybody home and minimize the damage and fired the ball out of bounds.
So Ramming waits for the punt from Winslow with 9:26 to go in the 3rd quarter. Ramming standing at his 25-yard line. Fair catch, and it's made successfully at the 31 by Ramming.
It's been a defensive battle so far. Daniel Jones going to get his opportunity in the second half. Let's see if Duke can get something going on offense.
Blue Devils on offense from the 31. Jones deep down the middle of the field. A diving attempt, and it's incomplete. Chris Taylor all out for that one. Couldn't pull it in.
Well, Coach Spurrier will be proud of this one. It's a shot play. You got Taylor down the pipe, little fake to the outside with the throw, and then try to pump it down the middle to Taylor, and just off his hands. Pretty well thrown ball there.
Quentin Harris has committed quarterback for Duke on 2nd and 10. Flips it to Ramming. Turns the edge, ramming, forcing his way past the 40 and up near the 42-yard line. 12 yards and a first down for ramming.
Let's take a look at this blocking on the perimeter this time. Receivers out in front get good block. Lloyd, number 5, gets a key block, and ramming hits that little crease back into the inside.
Daniel Jones resumes his obligations at quarterback after one down for Quentin Harris. Jones, wide open man, middle of the field, Sean Wilson. And Wilson takes it to the end zone for Duke.
Tom, we talked about off the top, who are the best players on the team for Duke, and it's these two running backs. Sean Wilson right through the middle on a busted coverage by Pitt. Wilson and Brown have been the key guys to try to get this Duke offense going.
Dave, that was 58 yards, the touchdown for Wilson.
Took a shot to start the drive. Got the reverse to ramming. Now get it to Wilson. It's Duke with a 3-point lead.
10-7, Duke has taken the lead, 58 yards. Daniel Jones to Sean Wilson. Third career receiving TD for the senior Sean Wilson from Charlotte, North Carolina. Maddox from the 4. Upended at the 20-yard line. We will be at Lane Stadium next week, Dave. Prime time. It's a night game as we'll watch these Blue Devils go on the road to take on Virginia Tech. That is our ACC Network Game of the Week presented by Mellow Mushroom next Saturday from Blacksburg, Virginia.
Yeah, I look forward to watching you gnaw on a turkey leg while Inner Sandman is taking place. That'd be a lot of fun up there.
That will be a priority when we head to Blacksburg. Always an incredible setting for college football. We turn it up a few notches. We're taking it up a notch next week in Blacksburg at Lane Stadium.
And Tom, another short field opportunity for this Pitt offense. Again, they've not handled these opportunities very well.
Second down for the Panthers. They go right side, and Davis. Olison, Hall, and Davis, Dave, the 3 backs primarily used by the Pittsburgh offense.
Lakeland, Florida native is A.J. Davis. Almost 5,400 yards career rushing in high school at Lakeland High School for A.J. Davis. They were really excited about this freshman.
So 3rd and short now for Pittsburgh. 6 of 14 in this situation in the ball game. Panthers led 7-3 at halftime. Duke has the score in this half. A Sean Wilson TD reception. They'll slam it into the line with Davis. Not sure about that one, Dave Archer.
No, he had Quadre Olison in front of him at the fullback spot, trying to lead. Number 37 got a lead up on the block right there. Kind of got a stalemate, but a good job by Duke at the point of attack. And force a 4th down play right here. I think you got to lean when you look at where you're going to go. I think you go right back to the interior. The strength of this offense is their offensive line and the downhill running attack.
They've already made it once today, Dave.
Yeah, the freshman's still in the game.
4th and 1 for Pittsburgh. Up the middle. Look at the surge by Duke and Joe Giles Harris.
Boy, a textbook play by the sophomore linebacker.
No gain on the play, and the Blue Devils take over on downs.
Number 44, Joe Giles Harris, going to fill right there, head-to-head with the freshman. And Duke turns Pitt away again at midfield. Boy, these short field opportunities come back to haunt you. You see Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator. He loves this group he has on defense. They're one of the best in the country. They showed it right there. And now a short field situation for Duke on offense.
It's the best starting field position of the game for the Blue Devils. Jones looking left, trying to put some touch on it. nearly intercepted, looking for Daniel Helm. Jordan Whitehead was back there with Helm.
Helm made a defensive play there, or Whitehead's going to come up with an interception. Really well played by Jordan Whitehead, the free safety. Tried to get him with a little wheel route, and Jordan Whitehead having none of it. Dr. Schock talked about his ability, his versatility. They can play on offense, but he's an outstanding safety man.
Jones with the time to deliver, hits his man at the 40. It's a first down, and it's Sean Wilson again. 18 yards for Duke.
Well, I love what Zach Roper's done now. He realizes his backs are a mismatch. Opportunity to get the back on the linebacker Brightwell. Outstanding throw from Jones in the pocket. And Wilson touches Pitt again down through the middle of the field.
Just 45 seconds to go in the third quarter. Duke with a 10-7 lead. First down from the 39 of Pittsburgh. Jones with a fake. Now going deep. Ramming running under it. Makes the catch. Touchdown, T.J. Ramming.
T.J. Ramming, big play receiver for Duke. Came in the leading receiver on the year. And he got in behind the Pitt defense after a really good play fake by Daniel Jones. And Ramming is finally in the end zone for the year.
Second TD toss of the quarter for Daniel Jones. Parker adds the extra point with 28 seconds to go in the third. It's Jones to Ramming, and the Blue Devils are in the end zone.
Flash play fake throws the safety. And we just talked about Jordan Whitehead. Outstanding safety man. He got caught peeking in the backfield. And a quick play fake to Wilson, and Ramming with the great speed in behind. Got a chance to talk to TJ's brother who's here watching him. He said he was going to get in the end zone today. I said, hey, I haven't seen TJ in the end zone much. In fact, that's only his 4th career touchdown as a Duke Blue Devil. He's been such a great receiver all over the years.
Daniel Jones to T.J. Ramming. Jones now 7 of 16, 174 yards passing, and a couple of TDs, both coming in the third quarter for Daniel Jones. Henderson out of that Pitt end zone. Stop cold, short of the 10, 8 yards on the return for Henderson. Pittsburgh first down inside their own 10. Hall breaks free. Darren Hall trying to outdistance the defenders. The sprint to the end zone. Darren Hall beats them all. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
Boy, David Cutcliffe just chomping on that headset as he's talking to Jim Knowles. Again, Duke gets caught in a pressure look where linebackers are stepping inside. Overrun by McDuffie, the safety, number 9. And Hall with the speed. Once he creases it, another long touchdown.
Dave, that one went for 92 yards. So Hall with rushing touchdowns of 79 yards in the first quarter. 92 late in the third. Darren Hall, the junior from Youngstown, Ohio.
Tom, we take a look at the all-22 so we can see what's going on. The two linebackers right here are both going to step in, and McDuffie, the safety, is going to overrun the play. McDuffie's got to be the guy that fills that hole with the linebackers stepping inside, and he's not in the right position. And then Hall's proven now twice that he's got great speed once he gets in the open field. And he shoves another one in the end zone. Another huge run. You're aggressive on defense. You kind of live by the sword, die by the sword. And that was a defensive look where the two linebackers had stepped inside, were protecting a gap, and they're expecting that safety to be in behind as that utility guy, and he was not there.
Dave, the Panthers have been playing football at the collegiate level for 128 years. You just saw the longest touchdown run in the history of Pittsburgh Panther football.
Well, the more alarming thing is that number 33 ran the football for Pitt back in the day. So that's a bit surprising. I did not know that, with Tony Dorsett as a guy that carried the ball for him.
Panthers started playing football in 1890. They were known as the Western University of Pennsylvania. Second rushing TD of a considerable distance from Darren Hall. Sean Wilson bounces off a couple of Panthers. He drags them into Pitt territory. Wilson on the final play of the quarter with a big return for Duke. .53 yards on the return by Wilson. Duke will have the football in the fourth when we come back. 17-14, Blue Devils. 14 points in the third for Duke. Couple of TD passes. And Darren Hall going the distance for the touchdown in the third. 17-14, our 1st and 10 line, brought to you by Cookout, serving fresh char-grilled hamburgers and 40 fancy milkshakes.
Wow, all of a sudden, Tom, got some offense.
How much fun has this second half been so far, that third quarter? Some exciting plays. Duke wants another one. Down the seam. Incomplete as Dane Jackson tried to make a one-handed interception. Scott Bracey was the intended receiver. Our third quarter stats brought to you by the North Carolina Education Lottery, celebrating 11 years, over $5 billion raised for education. To learn more, visit nclottery.com.
You get touchdown drives that add up to 1 minute and 58 seconds. A couple of TD drives, so it's quick strike here in the third quarter after the two defenses owned it.
We've seen a lot of Quentin Harris today. He's back out there on a design quarterback run. Doesn't get much. In fact, he lost one.
And good recognition they know when Harris comes in the game, doesn't throw the football. This is a run scenario when he comes in, and Zeiss, the linebacker, they just form an 8-man front, and Zeiss comes off the edge to make the play.
Don't forget Victory Formation, our post-game show on the ACC.com. Katie, Tommy, Stan from our Charlotte studio. 3 of 7 on third down for Duke. This is 3rd and long, 3rd and 11. Whistles halt the play. Timeout is called. Pittsburgh Panthers. 3rd and 11 coming up. We'll see what Pat Narduzzi dials up defensively when we come back to Durham. Just a perfect afternoon on the Duke University campus here in Durham, North Carolina, as we go down to DJ.
Fellas, before the fourth quarter started, Pat Narduzzi had his whole team around him, and he emphasized, we stressed all week long, we must finish games. And he said, we have a great opportunity to do it right now on the road. Finish the game now.
Yeah, Shock had to burn a timeout right there for this 3rd and long situation. Hope that didn't come back to haunt him.
From the 45-yard line, Daniel Jones throws the pass, incomplete. Near the 35 to Daniel Helm. Salim Brightwell defensively for Pitt.
Well, you got to have strong hands in the tight end position. Brightwell's in a good spot, swats with the left hand. Helm can't hang on right at the sticks, and Pitt gets off the field on 3rd down. Well thrown ball. Got to reach and pluck that ball out of the air. Helm could not hang on. Give Brightwell the credit. He swatted it out of there.
Henderson, the deep man, standing at his 10. It's a low liner. He's going to watch it bounce at the 11 and go out of bounds. And they will mark it right around the 5-yard line. Down to DJ.
Fellas, we saw the injury by Avonte Maddox. You can see him sitting on the sideline. He has a sling on. He has a ice bag attached to their right forearm. And he tried to get him to leave the sideline a couple times, but it looks like he wants to stay there and be there for his teammates.
Well, you can tell he's still in pain too, Shock, as we're looking at him on the bench. He's got that elbow sleeve on and he's cradled it in his lap. Hate to see that for the senior.
Worst starting field position of the game for the Panthers. And now Darren Hall touches the football, and every time he does, don't take your eyes off him. A run of 79 yards in the first quarter for a touchdown, 92 yards in the third quarter for a TD for Darren Hall.
Yeah, a little very unsung coming into the game. The Youngstown, Ohio native Darren Hall. Talked about different guys they've used it back. at the running back position. Hall has settled in to be that #1 guy, and he has been a big timer today.
Hall averaging just over 15 yards rushing per game coming into today, Dave. He's got 214, trying to add to the total up near the 15-yard line.
Yeah, and give that offensive line credit, Tom, as they pound one out over the 15 for a first down. And that's what you're looking to do as an offense here. You want to at least get this out of here. You're still down 3 points, even with Hall's heroics running the football. So you got to try to move it. But that big offensive line trying to take over the line of scrimmage.
Panthers trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. They lost last Saturday against NC State at home, 35-17. The first win for NC State in 5 trips to Pittsburgh. Again, 35-17 was the final. Hall on the carry. 12:15 to go in regulation. Jester Weah makes the catch beyond the 35 and fights his way to the 40. Saxton took him down. And there's Jester Weah, a dangerous receiver, 25 yards on the catch.
Big physical receiver. It's 6'2", 210. You got the corner that's going to jam and just kind of lose ground. He gets in that little hole between the safety and the corner. And an excellent throw that time by Dinucci, right on the money, high pointed it so the big receiver could go up and get it.
First catch of the game for Weah, who had 7 catches for 106 yards last week against NC State. The 4th time in his career over 100 yards receiving in a game. Dinucci. Deep. Struggle for the football. Who's got it? Right at the 10. It's Gilbert and Weah fighting for it, and they award the football to Pittsburgh. Now the officials are on top of the play, down at the 10, and the indication we saw is that it was a completion to Weah.
Well, it's a dueling catch is what it is, Tom. This is a ball that I think is initially picked off by Gilbert, but as they go to the ground, Weah gets in there and grabs the football.
Simultaneous possession, which goes to the offense. First down.
49 yards on the catch by Weah, who has come alive.
Now watch, Gilbert's going to get the ball first, but Weah has the presence of mind to reach in, and he pulls at the football, and now it's a dueling catch. Before the official can get in, give Gilbert credit. He's got the football when it high points.
Hall to his left, inside the 5. They drag him down. 7 yards. Saxton the tackle.
Defensively for Duke now, as aggressive as you are with your linebackers, we talked about the cheetahs. These safeties are going to have to tackle well because they're getting one-on-one opportunities with Hall. He's finding a way to get through that second level, and they're going to have to make some plays. But the Duke defense has been pretty stingy, Tom. Only giving up 19 points a game coming in.
Panthers 0 for 1 in the red zone today from the 5. Hall makes a move to his right, and he steps right in the end zone. 3rd rushing touchdown of the game, Darren Hall. This one from 4 yards out.
Perfect call by Jim Knowles. He's got 21 sacks, and right there, Hayes, 13 is in the backfield on the blitz, and he just runs right by Hall. He has the call. Saxon coming on one side, Hayes on the other. The 2 safeties coming on the blitz. And Hayes just ran right by Hall as he stepped inside of him for the touchdown.
3rd rushing touchdown of the game for Hall, his 4th of the season.
And a big-time play by Jester Weah sets up the opportunity. And who's been the star? Darren Hall shoves another one in the end zone. Hey, take a look at this scoring drive. How about that one? I think that's their second drive in the game that's been 90+. Of course, one came on one play, the Hall touchdown, but 2 touchdown drives of 90+ yards for Pitt today.
Kickoff sails into the end zone. Tom Wormy, Dave Archer, DJ Shockley on the sidelines. Ramming. Up to the 45, T.J. Ramming.
Well, I think Zach Roper's done a nice job of getting his playmakers the ball here, especially in the second half. Ramming, what a nice move to get to the inside. The defender waiting on him. Zeiss, the linebacker, little inside-out move and stepped inside on that little angle route. And a good job of the quarterback being on the same page. T.J. Ramming stepping up here in the second half.
5th catch for Ramming. That one went for 22 yards. 5 receiver look for Duke on first down. Jones at midfield. Chris Taylor goes out of bounds. It's another first down at the 41-yard line of Pittsburgh, and that one was 12 yards worth.
Duke really kind of loosened up their look now, playing a lot of empty set, spreading Pitt out across the field, and Daniel Jones is dealing. No safety in the middle of the field back here.
Keeping that 5 receiver set for the Blue Devils. Jones picks out a man. It's Ramming. He's got some real estate. The high step at the 24. Now the ball came out at the end. The officials are saying it was dead at the 19 as Pinnock made the tackle. 22 yards, T.J. Ramming.
Well, a lot of cushion for Ramming. Ramming's right here. Look where the defender is. He's just going to go to the out route. Jones sees that there's nobody covering him, and then a good block at the top when Ramming caught the ball to get him up the field.
Jones sends it back the other way to Wilson. He can't hang on. Might have heard some oncoming traffic.
Yeah, and you got to be accurate with these throws, Tom. When you got a receiver that's coming back in traffic, that ball's got to be down around the bottom of his numbers. That can't be up over his head where he's got to pull his arms down and then try to make somebody miss. So not a good throw by Daniel Jones there.
10 of 24, 230 yards passing for Jones and a couple of TDs, both in the third quarter. Lets this one go. Wilson on the edge, and he's wrangled down and thrown out of bounds.
Dowu does a great job here at the linebacker spot, Tom. Just not a very good block on the perimeter, trying to get their playmakers the ball. I think Zach Roper's done a great job of that, getting Ramming the ball. Here's Wilson out in space. Just a good job by Dowu, the leading tackler for the Panthers, to get him out of bounds.
3rd and 11 from the 18 of Pittsburgh.
Now they've hurt Pitt in the middle of the field. Something on a crossing route. The sideline, Pitt's been able to use the sideline as an extra defender.
Jones, incomplete. Just a little toss over the middle to Helm.
Yeah, what they're trying to do, they made a fake to the outside to pull defenders out, and they tried to leak the tight end right back over the ball. Helm, the tight end, kind of slow plays it right here, and now he's going to release right in the middle. And as it turned out, they didn't get any pass rush. Amir Watts, the nose tackle, didn't even rush, and he almost intercepted it.
Austin Parker is on for the attempt at the field goal. He's already made one in the second quarter from 25 yards away. This from 36 for Parker. It is no good. Wide to the right, Austin Parker. The miss. And the Panthers will have it back. Also have the lead 21-17 in the fourth. And we'll be back after a word from your local ACC station. 7th time Ramming has gone over 100 yards receiving in a ball game in his Duke career. Hall stumbles up to the 25. 2nd straight week that the Cardinals have gone to the last seconds to decide their game day after the loss to Boston College. Henderson knocked down just beyond the 30, but he's got enough for a first down. 5 yards.
Duffy saved the play right there.
Here's a look at our Haviland defensive shield, David. It involves Duke against the run. Pretty good except for today.
Yeah, I just talked about how they were 16th in the country, 3rd in the ACC, 108 yards a game, and Pitt up over 300 yards rushing the football, and a couple of more runs there have extended this drive.
Let's check in with DJ.
One thing I noticed, guys, is in the first half there were a lot of run blitzes for Duke defense. In the second half, they haven't done much of that because they got gashed so much in the first half with those run blitzes called.
Yeah, they like to be aggressive with those 2 linebackers, Shock, and I think they've been a little bit more reluctant to turn those 2 guys loose, and because it has put Hall or whoever's carrying the football one-on-one with that secondary, and The two big runs have come on those exact plays. The linebackers involved and tangled up in a gap, and the next thing you know, Hall's out the backside with nobody there.
Runs of 79 and 92 yards by Darren Hall, the junior. 4 touchdowns. That 92-yarder, a school record rush for a touchdown from scrimmage.
How about that? How about you put your name on the list above Tony Dorsett?
It's quite a list in the lore of Pittsburgh football. Little trickery. Henderson. McDuffie tripped him up.
They put a lot of pressure. Coach Knowles puts a lot of pressure on these safeties to make plays. Now, they've made a number of them, but they've missed a couple. This time, McDuffie does an excellent job coming up from that safety spot and making the tackle. Huge third down play here for Duke.
6 of 15 in the game on third down for the Panthers. From their own 35-yard line and leading 21-17 against Duke. Dinucci on 3rd and 6. Towards midfield and caught. It's Araujo Lopes into Duke territory, down to the 45. First down, 20 yards on the play.
Yeah, they catch Duke in man coverage and just run the go route on the outside, and the slot receiver runs the out route versus an inside technique defender. This is a standard throw that you have in every playbook, and he was so open that the ball was thrown behind him, Araujo Lopes, and still made the catch. McDuffie way off on the coverage. Excellent call. And an opportunity for them to bleed more time off this clock, Tom.
4th catch for Araujo Lopes, who leads the team now with 36 catches on the season. That one went for 20 yards and a first down. Back to the ground with Hall. And he got bumped after 2 yards. Down to the turf. 99, Mike Ramsey.
Yeah, big Mike Ramsey, the leader of that defensive front. And he's got to be playing at a fever pitch right now because of the yards they've given up on the ground. Big time player in that middle of this Duke defense.
Pat Narduzzi perfect as the Pitt head coach against Duke, 2-0. They've won the last 2 meetings. One here at Duke in the last meeting between the teams in Durham in 2015, 31-13, the win for the Panthers. Hall up the middle, trying to break free. Maybe a yard short of the first down marker as he got 7.
And you start thinking about when do you burn your timeouts. If you're Coach Cutcliffe here on 3rd and short, you're not going to want to do it because the odds of them getting a first down here are pretty good. You want to be able to stop the clock on the potential next 3 downs. So I think Coach Cutcliffe is going to hold on to his timeouts. His defense gets a stop here, he may burn a timeout. But he's hedging his bet a little bit here, Tom.
3rd and 1, Dave. Hall. First down, Panthers. McDuffie the tackle. 6 yards for Hall, who now has 22 carries for 256 yards and 3 TDs.
Darren Hall, 5'11", 220, came in as a bit of an unknown probably to the outside fan, probably not to Pitt fans, and certainly not to this Pitt coaching staff, as he's been the starter this season. Came in just with 108 yards on the season, averaging 3.5 yards a carry, but he has had a monster day, doing his best impression of James Conner right now.
James Conner, who ran for 3,733 yards in his Pittsburgh career.
Now, that should be a timeout there from Coach Cut. He sure got it.
Loss of 1 on that play. 10th play of this current drive for the Pittsburgh Panthers. Nothing there for Hall.
Coach Cutcliffe going to hang on to a timeout now. Going to let this clock come down, make Pitt snap the football, and then burn his next timeout. He's got 1 left.
This drive for Pittsburgh approaching 6 minutes of elapsed time on the clock. And don't forget, Victory Formation, our post-game show on the ACC.com. Tommy, Stan, and Katie from those Charlotte studios. Talk about that exciting finish between Louisville and Florida State, and our exciting finish here in Durham.
Comes the pressure.
3rd and long. That pass is incomplete. Looking for Arujo Lopes, incomplete, 4th down.
Looked like Joe Giles Harris is going to come right through the middle. Oh, I'll take that back. That's a pressure through the middle from Hornbuckle. James Hornbuckle looped around, got right in the face of Dinucci there and threw it wide, and now you force a long field goal. Remember now, long field goals, potentially slower kicks. Duke looking for a block.
So from 45 yards away for Alex Kessman, the redshirt freshman. 0 for 2 in the game on field goal attempts. Kessman connects from 45 yards. Plenty of leg. And he puts the Panthers up 24-17. 1:41 to go in regulation.
Well, it's a heck of a drive by Pitt to take that much time off and then end up with points. Excellent kick by Kessman, and a really nice job by Coach Narduzzi's group to move the football and take time off.
Performance of the game brought to you by your local Chevy dealers. That's Hall, Dave. No question about it. You know, it's the 2nd straight week we've seen an incredible effort from a running back. A.J. Dillon last week for Boston College. Over 270 yards rushing, in Hall today. Wilson gains the 20. Out of bounds past the 25-yard line. They'll mark him out at the 27. The Blue Devils have a drive. Ramming is open up near midfield. That's the way to start for the Blue Devils.
Ball still in bounds, though. Clock stop with the 1st down. Got to be on. Ramming's got nobody. Just going to run a corner route. Corner steps up to take away the short throw. Ramming open. Good job here by Daniel Jones to get back on the ball.
They got 22 yards on the previous play for the 49 for Duke. Jones comes to the other side of the field. It was a great attempt by Chris Taylor, defended by Dane Jackson, and incomplete.
It's been a good matchup all day long. Taylor and Jackson. Shock 2-minute. This is what you live for as a quarterback.
It is, and it's what makes these young guys great players. But the one thing is, you have to get these completions. You got to stay ahead of these chains, even on 1st and 2nd down.
A couple of flags come out on this play.
Brightwell's going to be called for grabbing T.J. Ramming.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 39. 1st down.
Now, this looks like a move you see in the ice skating rink here. Pair skating right there. Brightwell and Ramming. So far they move the ball with the effectiveness they need to. Get the clock stopped. Juggled ball once again. Boy, Bracey having a tough time squeezing the ball. It's the 2nd time he's been put up to bat in the slot. Just has not been able to reel it in.
Clock stops. 1:07 to go. 2nd and 10 for the Blue Devils, who led 10-7 and then 17-7 in the 3rd quarter before the Panthers kicked a field goal in the 3rd. TD and a field goal in the 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter for Pittsburgh. This is going to be Bracey inside the 35.
And Tom, he did a really good thing at the end. He got knocked back, but he was able to get forward for the 1st down, which stops the clock. And really an early whine by the official. They hadn't set the change yet.
Jones ramming, made sure he got out of bounds inside the 30. Zeiss forced him out 4 yards.
Shock seeing a lot of man coverage. A little surprised, leading by 7, that Pitt's playing as much man coverage as they're playing.
I am as well. I thought they would. You saw there, they tried to come after him and get the ball out of his hands quickly, but Daniel's making great decisions right now, getting the ball out of his hands and taking what the defense is giving him.
2nd and 6 for Jones and the Blue Devils. Went through the progression, got the receiver, Helm, out of bounds, clock will stop, 7 yards, 1st down, Duke.
And they're giving away the easiest throw. It's the short side out route. The slot receiver is just running an out, and they're running off the corner with a go route. That's the easiest throw to make if you're Daniel Jones.
Jones again over the middle, deflected, and picked off.
Boy, I thought
Jordan Whitehead.
Yeah, and I thought Helm got held on this play by Geist, the linebacker. Helm had been running the out route from the slot. This time he goes back inside, and it certainly looks like Helm wraps his arm, or that Geist wraps his arms around him. Let's take a look at this matchup right here in the slot. Wrapped his arms around his waist, kind of changed his body a little bit. Ball got up high on him and it tipped. Well, that's where you got to be careful when you got those safeties sitting in behind. A ball that's elevated is going to get tipped, and more often than not, it's going to get picked off. And it looks like Pitt is going to survive.
The Panthers are 45 seconds away from their first win in the ACC this season and first win on the road. They had been 0-3.
Yeah, Pitt really did a good job of controlling the football, yet they didn't get much out of it until late. And give the star of the game, certainly our Chevy performance went to Darren Hall, and rightly so, but give an assist to that big offensive line. Really did a nice job of sorting out some of the pressures Duke was coming with and created some creases in there. And another frustrating loss for Daniel Jones and Duke, but a big win for Pitt on the road.
Blue Devils are out of timeouts with 42 seconds showing on the clock. What a day for Hall as Dinucci will take a knee. 254 yards rushing, 3 TDs. Darren Hall had TD runs of 79 and 92 yards, added a 4-yarder in the fourth quarter. And Pittsburgh comes back and they will get the win. A couple of fourth quarter scores. They had a touchdown from Hall and a 45-yard field goal from Kessman. And that is going to be the final score as the last seconds will tick off the clock here at Wallace Wade Stadium. 24-17 the final on the win for Pittsburgh. For highlights and must-see moments from this game and others, visit theACC.com. Coming up next on the ACC.com, our studio crew, Katie, Tommy, Stan. More analysis of today's ACC action on our post-game show, Victory Formation, on the ACC.com. Don't forget to join us next Saturday for 2 games as we showed you. The ACC Blitz powered by Ram Trucks gets us started at noon, followed by the Mellow Mushroom Game of the Week, Louisville at Wake Forest, but we've got 2 for you. Then at 7 Eastern, Dave, DJ, and myself are in Blacksburg. Duke takes on number 14, Virginia Tech. You've been watching coverage of Atlantic Coast Conference football on the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports. Pittsburgh wins it over Duke, their first win in ACC play this season. We bid you a good afternoon from Durham, North Carolina.